I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the first day of round 3 of Carcassonne Champions League 2025, and today's opponents are Oscaridis of Spain and crocodilefundy of the United States, both expert level players, evenly matched, maybe slightly higher peak rating for crocodilefundy, but more competitive and in-person Carcassonne experience for Oscaridis, so it should be relatively quick and relatively fun. The game has not started just yet, so this gives us time maybe to spend a few more seconds on exploring the position of the tournament situation. Rabbit Train, obviously the highest rated player online, is ahead in this group. Then the Malaysian player, a bit of an upset here. And Oscaridis and crocodilefundy are the only two players to have lost the first two matches. So this means that today, whoever wins will still have a chance to qualify for the playoffs, and whoever loses will probably not be able to qualify. There are only 5 matches in total, so you would need, in most cases, at least 3 victories. Sometimes 2 victories in 5 matches might be enough, but this would be the case if the tournament table is really convoluted, like player A is losing to player B is losing to player C is losing to player D, that kind of thing. I don't think this is what's gonna happen. Hi Napalmi, hi Wisemaze, hi Lidio. We should have gotten rid of the noise, but in case it starts occurring again, do let me know. Well, isn't that interesting? So, have they started actually? Oh yes, they have, just now. So as you can see, the Spaniard is at the moment around 100 rating points lower rated than the American, but they get themselves the starting player advantage and the first 4 points on the scoreboard, but a fantastic tile for Croc, which resolves this sensitive square over here. Proud red meeples on a city and on a soon-to-become 6-point road. Oscaridis finishes his city now 8 points ahead on the scoreboard. It starts putting mild pressure on this square, not a source of concern for the player with the red meeples, who are probably going to go over here. And this is your standard lip-shaped city, looking for 3 more Doritos. There's still 9 in the deck, so great chances of drawing the needed Dorito tiles. So probably at some point we're going to see either a blocking attempt from this side or an invasion from the south. Croc finishes the road, starts a new one. They finally get themselves on the scoreboard, but the Spaniard finishes his own road and starts a new city. So both players drawing city plus road tile, which allow efficient scoring, placing meeples on both the road and the city component of the tile. Hi Daniel. Let's try and see if the audio has gotten better. It should have, but in case it hasn't, do let me know, because there are some changes possible. So Oscaridis is now starting to block this square, which is absolutely worth doing, given the fact that 2 out of the 3 dagger tiles have gone out. And look at this, he even spends a value tile trying to obstruct this meeple. Actually a move that makes a lot of sense here, because there's already a 50% chance that nothing will be drawn for this square, and it is still possible to build over here and try to block this square completely. Croc now takes 3 points for the road, gets themselves closer on the scoreboard, but blue exposes a connection platform against the city. Now blue should not go over here, I think, or maybe he should. It's not that obvious. Anyway, he tries to block red, and as red, I don't think we even bother defending, because if we can finish ourselves an 18-point city over here in just 2 tiles, we don't really care about the 50% chance about the recovery of our meeple. So this is why red very wisely does not defend at all and simply prepares to finish another city with a city cap. That's great prioritization, and he can have his cake and eat it too. He actually managed to defend on the next tile anyway. So that's great demonstration how one shouldn't panic when one's meeples are getting blocked. Every tile has a purpose. So great move by Croco, starting a 2-point monastery but controlling 2 of blue's meeples. Of course, the idea here was to prevent blue from going over here and blocking this square. But if blue draws the 1 remaining type of tile, so there are 3 starting tiles still available, then this square will be blocked. Okay, let me just hope that red goes over here, start this road, or maybe they might go over here, block Oscaridis' road. Both moves make sense, but let me just do some more on the miracles. Alrighty, attempt number 3, and in the meantime we see the first farmer being deployed on the board and a 4-point road in the process. Very nice efficient building here by red. In the meantime, blue managed to connect to the ruin. Or not quite connect, but at least sets up a connection to the ruin. So now blue draws a splitter at the top, separates from Croco's attempt to invade the city over here. So 11-point lead on the scoreboard. And this square now is very interesting. It's a complete coin flip because there are 2 splitter tiles available that would help red complete his own city without sharing with blue, and this would also expand his farm. And there are 2 tubes available that would help blue to connect to the city and also block this farm a little bit. But red should be the slight favorite in this situation, because if a tube is drawn, there are some scenarios how red actually goes over here with his last meeples and reinvade. This reinvasion doesn't work very easily, because then blue can reinvade even more. We can see ourselves a big city fight. But now that red has 1 more meeple as a result of this shared city over here, this actually should be looking pretty good for red. And by pretty good, I mean maybe like a 55% chance of coming ahead in this situation, maybe a little bit more. Because, so either we draw the splitter before our opponent draws the extender, or our opponent draws the extender, and then in some cases we reconnect from red's perspective. In any case, 2 of each tile still available. Blue is now trying really hard to block red, but we see the first imprecision, really big imprecision actually of the game. It was much better to block from the other side, trying to set up the block against this sort of dagger. That would be a very nice Sophie's Choice block there. Then red would need the same type of tile in both squares. But now red needs the right-handed dagger over here and the left-handed dagger over here. So this was a clear miss by blue, maybe as a result of playing very fast. In any case, neither dagger has been drawn. Oscaridis with a city cap. Oh, clipping, that's a new one. I've gotten used to some noise once in a while that happens, but I don't think I've really had clipping that often. In any case, do let me know if it is still there or not. At least there should be less of it. And Oscar, whilst trying to block his opponent so much, got himself blocked as a result. There is now only one dagger that fits into this square, and this is the same dagger that Croco needs over here. So this could turn the game absolutely around. The Spanish player should have exercised some caution, maybe with a straight line instead of trying to block red. Maybe it was better to just go over here and defend himself, but why do you need to defend if you're just going to draw daggers anyway? So first of all, blue draws the dagger that red needs over here. So this meeple is already trapped because it was the last dagger. And now the dagger that fits over here is absolutely the critical tile. Either red is going to draw this tile over here and finish his city and meeple a 5-point road and get a meeple back, or Oscaridis is going to draw the dagger, in which case he's going to go over here, finish the city for 8 points, finish his monastery, finish his 4-point road, and get 2 meeples back. So you can't imagine a bigger swing like this, and it seems to me that the game is now really headed into a direction where it's going to be 50-50 for that tile. Now, if Croco gets the dagger, I don't think he even needs the splitter over here anymore, and Oscaridis drew a splitter anyway. But Croco also do an extender, so now there's one type of each tile fitting over here. Red is now trying to limit blue's field a little bit. Not that anything matters, really, it's just all about waiting for those crucial tiles. But I'm thinking that now it's really all about the dagger, because even if Oscar draws the tile that goes over here, it's 8 points for the city, 4 points for the road, 9 points for the monastery on the scoreboard. So that's 21 points and 2 meeples. Just imagine 63 here and like 2 meeples over here. Just imagine that situation. Like, how are you coming back from that if you're red? Yeah, I don't think even this splitter is going to cut it. On the other hand, if red gets this dagger tile, it's +9, +4, +5, and 2 meeples over here. Yeah, then it's actually a playable position for red, and then some. And look at that, the dagger does go for red, so Oscar gets 2 of his meeples trapped. Red will now be getting some meeples back, and still the chance to draw the divider over here. Not that he needs it necessarily. Oscar now gets himself some city points. I wonder what's the... Okay, this move actually makes some sense. It is a net 1-point move because he's scoring for his side of the city. And then I think as Oscar, because the city is already 4 points and the city on the left is 7 points, if he's gonna draw the extender tile, he actually not even gonna bother going over here. He'll probably just go over here or over here perhaps. And another thing that blue should do at some point is actually trying to mitigate the extender somewhat. So maybe not with this tile, it's a fantastic tile to continue his field in a safe manner. There are, I believe, a couple of tiles that fit for these city caps. For example, I can see one umbrella tile, a couple of starting tiles still available. So this city this field at the top could turn into a 12-point field. This square here next to Red's monastery is already blocked. There's nothing that's remaining over here. Oscar will probably be looking forward to going over here and dropping a... okay, you always drop a farmer there. It's just seems to be a bit of a tactical miss. Because if you don't, then your opponent can finish the city and drop a farmer himself. There's still one vanilla city cap that allows it. And if you drop a farmer here, there's no problem in leaving an empty city cap this late in the game. Red decides to block up this field a little bit because blue was threatening growing his field over here, traveling like this through a curve, and blue just gets his own field, keeps scoring. Red probably wants to go over here, obstruct blue city a little bit that way, so that blue needs the same type of city cap in 2 places. And at some point, if blue just manages to score a little bit more and develop his field a little bit more, then close to the last move, he might actually have to drop a 0-point farmer over here with the purpose of insurance. So let's assume that red does draw the splitter tile. If there were a blue farmer over here, then this blue farmer will be sharing a 9-point, or after the completion of the city, a 12-point field with red. Definitely something that you want to be doing. Croco, now with a great tile. I mean, he's not going to go over here. He is going to go... Or really, is it worth to be giving up this 50-50 shot of completing your city just to get your monastery meeple back and protect the field? I don't think so, he says. He is now trying to finish his city and now waits a second. It is actually a big question. Does red even want to go over here now? Because red very well could go over here and drop a farmer like this. Blue continued his plan of developing his field, and now actually this field is part of blue's field, including this city and this city and this city. Red does decide to go for the normal city because there's still one city cap that's left for the top. Oh no. Blue helps red to connect to the field. Oh, this could spell disaster for blue. Is there a tile that fits into this square? No, there isn't. Maybe that was super precise calculation on the part of blue, but we'll never know. But if there were a row tile, this move, of course, is super dangerous. Oscaridis with just a couple of points towards the end, so there were in fact no tiles. Well, actually no, there was a sequence to connect to the field. If Croco were to draw this tile first and the starting tile later, he would be sharing all these field points from Oscaridis, but I believe as a result of this city over here and the 12-point city over here, then the American should prevail here. Oh yes, thank you, Wise Maze, and Vanilla City Cap plus Dorito also would have worked as a combo. So, who ended up winning? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the American, but let's just see what the point difference is. It says 18 points, so Oscar was losing there no matter what. But I wonder, yeah, I think it really was just that coin flip for the dagger. Just getting his 2 meeples blocked was a little bit too much. If only he were to protect the square, then maybe drop a farmer, then he would be able to just have more meeples to play with. Maybe like meeple a 5-point ruin towards the end and score some more quick points, something like that. Also, there's another winning idea here for Oscars necessarily. So I think that the lead of Croco was... No, actually, no, this is not true. I think Croco does not necessarily win without this tile, because this tile also not only gave him the city points, but also 2 meeples back, farming points over here, and Red did manage to score quite a bit with his last couple of meeples, so it would have been really close. I think not quite 18 points, but if Blue were to draw this splitter tile, he actually had a really good use for it. Either, of course, finishing his city and dropping a farmer or stuff like this, or just developing his field, but there was also this motif of dropping a farmer over here and hoping to connect through the divider like this. So, and then it would be an attempt from the Spanish player to try and set up a coin flip for the entire game, saying either you're going to complete your city for a boatload of points, or I am going to complete my city, by the way, and then connect to your field. So this certainly would have been worth a try. I just don't think there were enough tiles to try this, because he got this city cap fairly late. Wise Maze is saying that Blue had a straight to save the monastery and the road. It is indeed the case. Yes, I was. So maybe again, well, Blue is kind of like double-edged, so he is one of the fastest players. Uh-oh! Well, look at this. I wonder what this will do to our stream. Maybe not that much, because the maintenance does not affect this particular game, which has started. Oscaridis does not have the starting player advantage in this one, but what he does have is 6 points on the scoreboard compared to 0 for the American. Or make it 10. Decides to not follow the principle of 2 cities, but just get out of harm's way. Maybe he figured that there were maybe not too many good spaces to start a new city without giving something back. For example, this move would have given back a 4-point road. But actually, well, no, it's okay. It's actually a good move here by Oscaridis. He's now starting a new road, trying to harass this square a little bit. Now looking to start a new monastery next to his road, probably. In the meantime, oh, this also makes actually a lot of sense. Sort of controlling Red's road too, pointing his own road and upwards, far away from Red's road. I still prefer the other location, just because it's more points, and it also sets up more monasteries to stack. And since Red is about to finish a shielded city, and he's successful like 90% of the time, there's really not that much that we can do, because it would require us 2 tiles to try and get to the city, and there's only one proper platform to do so. Oscar decides to go on the farm early enough, which makes a lot of sense, because Oscar will be eventually having a 9-point farm if the Red city is getting finished. And look at this move over here. So that's very, very interesting. So Oscar, Croco was trying to build up his city at the top and trying to finish it like this, but Oscar bended inwards and now is trying to block it, and he's trying to set up a block in 2 spots, and I think we might find ourselves in a very similar situation to where we were last game. Or maybe not. So first of all, Oscar blocks this square, so he blocks his own city, but he also blocks Red's piece of city and probably even Red's road. And now, again, we're in a sort of a coin flip situation, but maybe now the odds are much more on Oscar's side. So there's still 2 of these splitter tiles, just like in last game, that would help Croco to finish an 18-point city, get a meeple back, and then maybe get a city cap and get this meeple back as well. But if Oscaridis gets himself something like a triple city tile, then he would be able to tie this meeple together to this meeple, which is already blocked. He also might be able to tie it to this meeple as well. He's also now trying to block the square, not to allow Croco to draw something like a regular city cap that would help him save the city. And of course, Croco tries to defend. It's very interesting how like everybody's dancing around these three squares, trying to block the blocking square, then block the blocking square, and then all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if it actually makes sense for anybody to go here. That could be quite fun. And also it'd be interesting to see, like, what does Oscar do if he gets a starting tile? Does he go over here and try to block 3 meeples? Or does he go over here and help finish Red City just to avoid the worst case scenario? But Croco gets out alive, and now we're in the same coin flip situation. Now the triple city tiles that would block all the meeples are no longer suitable for that square, and it is really just the 2 extenders and the 2 parallel city caps. So in the first game, the parallel city caps prevailed. Will it be the case in this game? And yes, the answer is yes. Oh dear, must be saying Oscar to himself. Losing 2 games in a row to the same type of city. Well, that's gonna be all she wrote, I think. Because Oscar still has the meeple advantage long term. Red is thinking whether to drop the farmer. The answer to which is probably yes. There are a couple of reasons for it. It looks like a field. First of all, you do this because of the tempo, because you don't want it to later have to fight for the field. And then it could actually easily turn into a 12-point field. First of all, a tile is going to be placed over here. Red is going to finish their city, and Red now also has the chance to develop his field like this. So this was the thing that it was also possible to draw the splitter. Although actually it's not obvious where he should use it exactly, because he does develop this field, but he also shuts down his ruin from further development. Not that it was super important or anything. But he also creates a field for his opponent up for grabs, and of course the side with the more meeples will be able to occupy this field. Then next order of business for blue is to finish the city, get more firepower, then get something like a crossroads, place it over here, drop a farmer over here, then get a straight line, get 3 points, get 1 monastery point, connect to this farm for 9 points, then go over here, block this meeple or something. Okay, let's maybe start. Okay, fine. It's an option, but I would have preferred maybe farming here and then building up the monastery, because if you think about it, it doesn't matter to build up the monastery because it won't be completed anyway, because as blue you aim to block this square, which is shared with red's road, but neither of that ends mattering as 1 more 8-point city comes into existence for Croco, and it appears to be a bit too much. A second insurance farm is being drawn. The main farm is 12 points. The secondary farm is 3 points. They're about to connect, and looks like we are having ourselves a sort of big field fight, but it is not in blue's it's not in blue's interest to maybe have a big field fight, because the farm is only worth 12 points. In blue's interest would be to separate these 2 farms, have a 9-point field for himself, and get himself another meeple to equalize and overrun this farm. But even though he has the meeple advantage, it's not like he has an endless trunk of meeples. He only has 1 extra due to this blocked road over here. And even that blocked road is scoring a little bit, and Croco is up 19 on the scoreboard as well. Oscar with a parallel city cabs. Not able to finish his city. This has to hurt. Maybe going here is a possible move. Instead, he starts a new city, which I think is misguided. Like, it's just not enough at this point. And if you just drop the extenders here, then maybe your opponent can clean off one city cap, but you then clean off the other. And then suddenly there's a 15th field at the bottom, and you can still fight for it. Blue still has sort of kind of a long-term meeple advantage because he can still get this meeple back, whereas of course this road cannot be gotten back. And I really don't like the idea of starting another city when you have a city open and a few on meeples, because the only type of tile that this can benefit from is a city cap with a field, something like the vanilla. There's 2 of those remaining, but what are the odds of drawing it right now? It is much more likely that it would be able to draw something like the monastery, which will be played by Croco over here, and with a meeple. It's of course his last meeple, but it is 8 points, unifying all the fields, and also making it pretty easy to recover the meeple. So what is Red gonna do here? Is he really going to pass up the monastery? I would doubt that. And the reason why I really want to fill that square is the fact that you're ahead, and this monastery is one of the potential comeback route for your opponent. So you can imagine a combination where Blue gets his meeple back here, gets his meeple back here, then gets a monastery for 8 points, then gets a curve, meeple's a new road, curve, road end, something like this. And, oh yeah, okay, here's a sequence that I like. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 curves, so that's loads. Okay, so we recover the meeples here. Then we have 12 points extra on the scoreboard and a meeple extra. Then we go over here as Blue. Meeple the monastery. Then we get a curve. Meeple this road. Then we get a curve. And then, after we get this curve, we... Oh, come on, Red has already occupied the monastery. Like, I was dreaming, okay? I was daydreaming here, and Red so rudely interrupted. But yeah, this is exactly the kind of stuff that you want to be meepling this monastery yourself from Red's perspective, because your opponent can meeple this. Then also, from Blue's perspective, this, of course, is a very sad outcome for the mini-battle, because Red is able to finish the super vulnerable road. And it seems to me that Blue had plenty of time to try and block the square, but now it won't be possible, and Blue will need to spend a couple more tiles to recover his monastery meeple, which is really not the most efficient way to spend his tiles. And he's now trying to build up his monastery, but of course Red will go over here and block it completely. There are no road monasteries remaining. And I think without that extra meeple, it would be very difficult for Blue to come back, and yet he still has a meeple now. He's gonna have another meeple, and maybe we can make something happen. So first of all, we need to score a bit. We need a straight line over here. We need the other meeple to get back. Then we need to invade over here, which is actually pretty easy. This will going to be completed. And then, given the fact that there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 straight lines remaining, we can have ourselves our sequence as something like this. Curve goes here. Meeple gets dropped on the outside, and then we connect through the outside of a straight line. I'm not sure exactly how would you call it. Maybe a samurai farmer. Because, you know, this pattern where you connect through the outside of a curve tends to be called a ninja farmer. So maybe if you connect through the outside of a straight line, that can be called a samurai farmer. Because these are both very similar ideas, it's just the one with and they also have typically the same invasion probabilities. Well, actually, no, this is a bit safer, because overall there are more tiles in the deck that are shaped like a straight line. There are 8 straight lines and 4 starting tiles, or 3 starting tiles to be drawn. That's 11. Oh wait, no, but there are loads of curvy tiles, so scratch that. Anyway, so just wanted to point out that this is still a motif. 1 straight line remaining, and 4 points have been scored, which is exactly what the doctor ordered. You really want to be winning those little coin flips if you're trying to come back from a 17-point deficit. Yeah, and then if we recover a meeple, then we have chance to invade 2 fields. So we maybe win the 12-point field at the top, and then we win the 9-point field at the bottom. The only issue is that this square is blocked, otherwise going over here like this and invading through a dagger whilst also scoring 4 extra points would have been a lovely idea. Now Oscar, of course, is trying to get himself 9 points, which makes total sense, but a city cap is drawn by Croco to score some quick points. I wonder if that was the last one or close to the last one. But it's difficult for me to imagine any other move than scoring 4 points. When you are ahead far enough, like your route, your path to victory is just really scoring quick points and not trying to engage into anything unnecessarily risky. Oscar gets a meeple back, and maybe the plan with both invasions would still come to fruition, although sadly I think that there are just simply not enough tiles left to accomplish all of that. Okay, so let's see. So he needs a tile to invade here, a tile to invade here, and that's it. So he will equalize this farm and overrun this 9-point farm, but that will be not enough because he needs just 2 more moves. He still needs this and this to overrun the farm, which will not be possible. And overall, Red will be winning by something like 15, or maybe a little bit more. So let's see what the American does with the city cap. He could do pretty much anything, could just start a big city. Well, it's relatively big, it's 6 points. He's still gonna have 3 tiles that he will need to play. So maybe doesn't want to invest in meeple just yet. But then again, what else do you need those points for? That's the question. He could also, in theory, go here and maybe block that square completely and then try to go there or something. Yeah, oh wait, this was actually a brilliant move. Not only is it getting 6 points, the city was still live. That's the beauty of it. I think it was live. Nope, I got it wrong. Yeah, all Rhodes Doritos have in fact gone out. And looks like Blue is about to get blocked at the top. So Blue won't be able to invade the field in all likelihood. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So is the last tile a crossroads or no? Have we gone? Yeah, so there are no crossroads indeed. That was, of course, an extremely painful sequence, but it is what it is. Did not manage to draw a curve in time, just drew it 1 move later. Also, nice recognition from Croco that it was actually possible to block both invasions. Quite unlikely to have occurred. And then this means that the score difference will be even greater, like more like 20 points. And this will conclude our stream. It will not be the shortest stream. I think the shortest was just over 30 minutes. And it also happened to be a stream of 3 games. Was this? That was definitely Mate Tabak, but I was remembering against who that was. I think that was against Sanglar against Dani Angelots. So anyway, it may feel short, but 40 minutes for 2 games, it is a brisk tempo, but not a record-breaking tempo. Anyway, we congratulate the American player with the parallel city caps, which took care of business in both games. But based on the score, it seems that even without the parallel city caps, he probably would have won. So a tough night for Oscar here. I want to check the game results. Yeah, actually, Croco did think for a long time, so 12 minutes compared to 3 of his opponents. Maybe it pays off sometimes to be thinking a little bit longer. And for Oscar, life seems quite tough because not only did he lose, but he also lost 2-0, not something that you want to be doing. Although in his previous games, his tiebreakers are actually quite fine because he lost 2-1 and actually you can see over here, so his previous games, right? 1-2 against Rabbit Rain, so Oscar was the one who took down the record winning streak of the Japanese master. And lost 1-2 to Kaika as well. So this means that if there's some unlikely tie towards the end, and if he does win his next 2 encounters, which will be against Manarori of Mexico and Posi of Czechia, both tough opponents, but not impossible. I mean, even against the impossible one, he managed to pick off a game. So then, maybe if there's some favorable results between the two, he could grab onto the 3rd place. But losing 2-0 instead of 2-1 was definitely not helpful for his tiebreakers. But technically, everybody in this group probably still alive. But the player with the screen name crocodilefundy a bit more alive than his today's opponent. So that's the tournament situation. Week 3 has started in a brisk pace. Hi, Daniel. Thanks for the kind words. And this now leaves us to talk about plans for the nearest future. So there actually are 2 interesting matches on Wednesday. So this one's Me Got No Skill of Australia versus Lord Terrycloth of the United Kingdom, a battle of English-speaking nations where the high-rated British master will be looking to withstand the pressure from the underdog, but I don't even know if he's the underdog because he's defeated Nalaheim, whose peak rating is over 800 in the qualification cycles, and he even denied Nalaheim the qualification spot. Then he also defeated Siegfried the other day, also another player with a peak rating over 800, the reigning vice champion of the world. So if he can do it against them, he can probably do it against anybody. So Mr. Lord here should definitely watch out despite being the high-rated player. Anyway, so I'm covering that. That is 2 days from now, but also what you can sometimes do, if you're interested in just going on Carcassonne GG and exploring the schedule for yourself, wait. There's this update section where you can sometimes see updates for match times before they were published. And Bakshe versus Senglar, so battle of the reigning world champion and the Thai master, who's a newer player but happens to be high rated at the moment. That will be at 1300 UTC, also on the 22nd of January, and so I will be covering both of those matches in one stream. Oh, what's that? Interesting. Yep, this one I cannot cover, sadly. And this one I also probably cannot cover. Well, it is what it is. So Wednesday morning if you're in the Western Hemisphere, evening if you're in East Asia, and noon-ish if you're in Europe, that's when we meet again. Make sure to meeple the like button for the algorithm. That would help out more people to find out about competitive Carcassonne. And thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you soon.